Never been to Idaho, you ought to go. Go in the summer, because it's really cold in the winter. So mountains, trees, they got all kinds of what I call pine trees. There's spruce and fir and I don't know what all. Some other kind of lodgepole and I don't know. Bunch of trees. It just keeps amazing me. I look up on those mountains and there's trees all the way up it. And there's very little rain in that country. I mean, it rains some, but I don't know how the trees get water. God's got some system. And they're just green and beautiful as they can be. But I don't get it. You know, around here, trees grow along streams for the most part, or fence rows. But I don't know. It's an odd thing. Up there in the mountains, there's roads and paths and trails. Mostly they're old logging trails or mining trails. There's a lot of old gold mines played out up there. And if you go up those roads or paths or trails and you stay on the trail, you do pretty good. You can see a lot of beautiful country and you can get home when you want to. But it's a big country. And those roads and lanes and paths are old. It's probably been 50 or 100 years since anybody seriously logged or mined up there. And so the roads aren't in great condition, but they're there. Now it's national forest. But the paths and those trails are pretty reliable and lead down to towns, places where they could bring their logs to sell or their gold to sell or their furs or whatever it is they were doing up there. And if today you stay on those roads, things are good. But if you're hunting, you're liable to get off the road thinking, oh, I better go over here. I bet there's elk over here. I bet there's a bear over here. So you get off the road a little bit, you get up there, and as long as you can find your way back to the road, you're pretty good. But if you get lost up there, it's a pretty lonely feeling because it all looks the same for hundreds of miles. Well, here's the thing I learned a few years ago. If you're lost up there on the mountain, don't go up, don't go sideways, go down. Because if you go down, you'll come to a ravine between mountains, and that ravine will lead to a stream, and that stream will lead to a river, and just about every river has a highway. You can find civilization. People tend to go up. We always wonder in those shoot 'em up movies, the bad guy, they're chasing him, and he goes up the building instead of down, thinking, why are you going up? You can't get off. You're stuck. Anyway, same on the mountain. Go down. It's rougher going if you have to go along the edge of a stream because it's full of brush and overgrowth and you're going to get your feet wet and you're going to stumble, but you'll get out. But it's better to stay on the old path. It's better to stay on that road that's been there a long time. So in Jeremiah 6:11, the prophet says, stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is and walk in it, and you will find rest for your souls. And if you're that hunter up on the hill, you'll at least find your way back to camp. Seems like we're attracted to new things. A little kid will trade an old treasured toy for a new one. Drop the one, pick up the other. People want a new hairdo, new car, new bathroom, makeover. We're drawn to new things. We're drawn to wander off the path. You're going along pretty good up there on that mountain, and you think, I'll just go over here and investigate this. And pretty soon, you don't know how to get back. When we're bored or agitated or want to go someplace new, it creates an open door for Satan to come in and to tempt you to leave the path and follow after something that seems new. Sin looks good at the beginning, but not for very long. The glitter turns to bitterness and sorrow, pain, fear, and that feeling of being lost. You know, sin never fulfills that thing we think we need. Neither will a new hairdo or a new truck or a new friend. None of those things will scratch what itches. I think it's important for us not to trade the place of blessing that God has put us in for something that seems better on the other side of the fence. For the most part, you are where God has placed you. What causes that waywardness, that bored looking for something else? I think it's mainly selfishness. You get your eyes on yourself and off of Jesus, and you think, I need something new. We got up there to Idaho, and my oldest daughter had pink hair on the bottom part of it. And it was lovely, if you're watching this, by the way. But it was striking, you might say. Yeah. Need a new hairdo. I don't know why. You cut mine off. Selfishness. We get our eyes on ourselves. If you keep your eyes on yourself, you'll wander off the path of the good way. Isaiah 11:10 says, the root of Jesse will stand as a banner for the peoples and nations to rally to him, and his place of rest will be glorious. The root of Jesse is Jesus. If you just look to Jesus, the root of Jesse, he'll receive you back. He stands as a banner. And all you have to do is look to him, and he'll guide you back onto the good path, the ancient paths. And he'll bring you to his glorious rest. You see, we've all gotten off the path a time or two. We've all done that. It's easy to do. You know, the Bible says that we've all sinned. In Isaiah 53:6, it says, like sheep, we've all gone astray. Each of us has turned to his own way. We've all gotten off that path, off the track, and sinned. Getting off the path isn't sin. But when you're out there, not on the path, then temptation seems stronger. And it's easier to do something you don't want to do, or you don't want to do later. But the rest of the verse in Isaiah 53:6, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity, sin, of us all. Go back up a verse or two, verse 3, he was pierced for our transgressions and crushed for our iniquities, and the punishment that brought us peace was put on him, and by his wounds we are healed. Well, we've gone astray. We've gotten off the path. The Bible says, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, but's a real important word. But we are justified freely by his grace. It's right there next to it. We've all sinned and come short of the glory of God, but we are justified freely. Justified means being declared righteous as if we'd never sinned. He stands there like a banner, and all we have to do is look at him. What part do we play? We look, we believe it, we receive it, and he forgives us and cleanses us and puts us back on the path. How do you stay on the path? In Colossians 2:6 it says, just as you received Christ, so walk in him. Continue to live in him. How did you receive Christ? By believing, by his grace. How do you walk? By believing, by his grace. The same way you got saved is the same way you walk. By believing him, by his grace. Resting in him, drawing near to him. That restless feeling sometimes May not be that you're tempted to sin or something, but it may just be the need for you to draw closer to God, to open up your heart more to him. It may be a sign that he has something more for you, something different. He may be stirring up the nest a little bit, getting those little baby birds to fly. You see, it's not always a bad thing to feel restless, but you have to get close to him in those times, because he may have something new for you to do. You know, there's more paths on that mountain than I've been on. There's more roads up there than I've seen. They're all good roads. They're all ancient paths. They're all safe roads to be on. I just haven't seen them all. I've been on 2 or 3. Isaiah 43, prophet says, behold, I do a new thing. He wants to do a new thing in you, maybe. There's more for you to learn, to know, to see, to have in him. In Isaiah 42:16, it says, I will lead the blind by ways they have not known. You see, there are ancient good paths that you've not known, you've not been on. But he'll lead you into a new path. It's still an ancient path. It's still a good way. But when you get that restless feeling, instead of turning to something that's not good, get closer to him, because maybe he's leading you to something better, something new. He says, I will lead them along unfamiliar paths. I will guide them. I will turn the darkness into light before them. I will make the rough places smooth. These are the things I will do. I will not forsake them. He'll guide us in his grace. He will light up our path. We just believe it and receive his provision and continue to walk in him, just like we were saved by grace. You see, we're called to rest in him. That's hard for some of us to do. We need to stop trying to make ourselves righteous, trying to save ourselves, trying to do the work that only God can do. For only he can save, and only he can deliver, and it is for his glory. We don't want to be in the position of trying to take his glory. That's what Satan did. He tried to build his throne right up there at the same level with God. He wanted to take over. That's the ultimate selfishness, the ultimate sin. And if you boil sin down, just anything you can think of, it pretty much turns out to be selfishness, self-gratification, putting yourself